Welcome back to the Gamecocks Football Captain's Log. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers, and I'm joined all the way from Costa Rica. He sailed through the night after doing pirate shit. Joined by my co-host, the captain himself, Captain Petey. Captain Petey, how are you doing this week?
All right, calm down.
Well, in case you were also in Costa Rica, we beat Clemson.
Yes.
We beat Clemson at Clemson. It was beautiful. I just can't even. We talked about it before you left, how the Dolphins were telling you we were going to pull it off.
They had some kind of sixth sense or something that Dolphins are just they're the greatest creatures.
Those blowholes started tingling, and they were right. So,
Woo!
First of all, absolutely terrifying game to watch.
Yeah.
I know you had to watch it when you got back, and let's just go through. You were in a group chat with some Gamecock fans. You're getting on a plane to come back to America. And where were we at in the game when you were getting on the plane for your final flight?
So I was in the airport for all of the first half, basically, and then I was sitting on the tarmac, I think, when the second half started, and then I saw that Clemson was up 14-7. I didn't see any plays or anything going on. I couldn't watch on my phone, but I could just follow on the ESPN app. And I'm a little out of breath now, but
yeah, it wasn't looking good at that point.
Yeah.
And so you get on the plane not knowing what's gone on. You get off the plane.
We land in Fort Lauderdale, and as soon as I get signal back, I turn on, look at the app, or I see I have 150 missed text messages.
And mind you, this is a 3-person group text, so it was just two of us with 150 text messages.
Yeah. And then I pulled up the phone. It took a minute for it to download and shit because it's no cell service until you get off the plane. And then I see it 14-7 Gamecocks win, and I go on the airplane just. Everybody's around. Everybody's still seated. We're still moving. We're on the.
They're like, this guy's really happy that we landed. In Fort, this is the happiest anyone's ever been to land in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
No, it was incredible. So you went back and watched the game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your takeaways from watching the game because, again, one of the most terrifying games I've ever watched in my life. My heart rate was elevated, especially at the end. So we'll just go through major takeaways, and we'll get to the part where I almost went into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard game to watch.
Even knowing the result, it was a hard game to watch.
Even going into that, with 5 minutes left in the game, I'm watching the record. I'm like, how are we going to win? We're not going to win this. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Just, even though I know we won, I was just so nervous. I was sitting on the edge of the couch.
This is what Gamecock football will do to you.
Yeah, exactly. Takeaways. Turnovers just about killed us.
Yes.
The Maffa's fumble is pretty much what saved the game for us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really put it on him or Klubnik or whoever. They try to get cute with a reverse pass or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll just start with our offense. We left so many points on the field. We just did not get. We got into scoring position so many times and just could not come away with anything, and just really struggled on that point. And it just seemed like kind of a repeat of last year, a little bit, where you just couldn't get any kind of points on the board. And we struggled with the pass rush. We couldn't block them very well. But just I think we have probably the best quarterback in the country back there. And even though he's still young and still learning, but God, he is impossible to bring down just about.
He reminds me with that of Cam Newton.
Yeah. I saw that in the text thread, and I was like, yeah. I mean, it's 100% true. It takes 5 guys to tackle him, and he's not quite as big as Cam was. I think Cam was 6'6". I think Lenore's is 6'3". But he's 240 pounds.
Yeah,
and
which is close to Cam, I think.
Yeah, I think Cam was 6'6", 240.
Yeah.
But and when he was at Auburn, I mean, I'm not sure what he was in the NFL. But Jesus, he's just, there's so many times that we should have been sacked. And it's just because you have an absolute freak in the backfield.
It is ridiculous. I mean, like you said, there was probably like 5 or 6 times he should have been sacked.
Yeah.
And then not only for those not to be sacks, but for him to
play the game, like he goes for 30 yards, but it should have been a sack for 15.
Yep, and that's how it was. Not only was it not a sack, but then he's gaining 10, 15, 30 yards.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how frustrating that had to be as a Clemson fan to watch that.
Defensive-minded guy, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that had to just be
what
insane.
More do you want me to do? I would just, if I was them, I would like rush nobody.
Yeah.
I would have all 4 guys, all 4 linemen just being a spy on the quarterback.
Yeah, it was insane to watch. He did have the fumble, that's just been the thing all year. But that kind of brings me to the point about the offense. We also had, Simpkins, the offensive lineman, with 2 ridiculous,
2 terrible penalties,
stupid penalties.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Especially on the offensive side of things, like we beat teams because we're better, but we're not better coached. Like
Correct.
It's just like we're simply better. We have Lenora Sellers, we got Rocket Sanders, we got guys like Josh Scheinman, Nick Harbor. So we win because we're better, more talented.
Yeah.
But as far as execution, which I put on coaching, we are awful, and that's where we left all the points on the board, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. I mean, 100%. They were 100% better coached than us.
Yeah,
but they just couldn't answer Lenoris. They couldn't stop him, and our defense was not outrageously good. But they probably had one of their best games of the year, even though we didn't get a lot of sacks. Which obviously Clemson knows how to deal with a pass rush because they get the ball out quick. They also kept themselves in manageable situations on down, so they did not have to throw it deep very often. And so they just negated, our edges, which is our strong suit. It just was probably one of the best games I've seen us have. It's like on the DB aspect.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't know. The thing is, I don't know that Clemson's wide receivers are particularly that awesome. They're not like receivers they've had in the past. They're probably decent. But yeah, they're just not. There was one of the better covered games I've seen from us. Even though guys, they got big plays, but our guys are still in good position. It just was. I mean, how do you? What was the guy Williams who caught the one?
Yeah, he was crushing out there.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I think like you said, they did a fantastic job just not even letting Kennard and Stewart have a shot at Klubnik.
Yeah. And we didn't get a sack until like halfway through the 4th.
Yep. And I think it was Bam Martin Scott who got it.
Right. And it came up the middle, not even on the edge.
Yeah.
They were so worried about the edges, they didn't account for the middle.
And it was it was just, I don't know. That's one of those games we talked about like after Missouri where we normally would find a way to lose it, but we didn't this time. And it's incredible. Like, I'm drinking tea now. I had clearly shouted my voice out. That's why I'm a little more subdued today. Like my throat is still a little sore because I was freaking out. I just couldn't believe that we were doing it. The Lenoris touchdown run to give us the lead 17-14.
Yeah.
I lost my mind.
And then, like on the Herrera kick, we had done so well. I think we got down to like the 15-yard line, and then we had the penalties or something.
Yeah.
And then we had I think it was like a 4th and 4 at one point, and then we acted like we were going to go for it. Then took the delay of game, and I just had no faith. I mean, I knew he was going to make it, but if in the moment I would have had no faith that he was going to make that kick, because I've seen him miss so many kicks this year. I don't have any confidence in Alex Herrera.
Yeah, anything outside of 40, and that was 42 yards, you get real nervous with him. But credit to him, he made it. And then that last drive when they were going down to tie it, I thought for sure, I was just like, please let it be a field goal. Let's get to overtime and do something there, because they were just marching right down the field. And I was like, good Lord, they're going to score a touchdown, and I'm going to have to go jump off a bridge.
And I think a little bit, like for a lot of the plays, we were very concerned about what Klubnik would do running the ball.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were not really trying to rush him or anything like that. They just wanted to make sure he didn't run for 50 yards like he did against Pitt.
Yep.
And I don't know, where they got down to like the 20. And just we got pressure on him that one play. He throws it, I think it was to Maffa, but Maffa like mishandles it, it bounces off, and then Demetrius, thank God for him, picks it off.
Yeah.
Demetrius has got to be the player of the game, in my opinion.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
Demetrius Knight, thank God for you. Thank you so much.
He was making plays all game, though.
Yeah. Yeah. He was everywhere. And it was just, if we weren't going to have the big play, I mean, the big play on the last drive offensively was Lenora Sellers, which is who it should have been.
Yeah.
And then defensively, if you had to pick a guy from that game who was going to make a play, it would have been Demetrius Knight. He did it. If you had to pick a player from Clemson who was going to mess it up, you figured it'd be Klubnik. He did it.
Yeah.
Man, it feels good.
Yeah, usually we're on the opposite end of that, so it's just nice to feel good. Something just happened here. But I think we're just hit ignore. Hopefully we're still good.
You are still here. You're still here. I see you, and I hear you.
Right. Fantastic.
So that was the fantastic part. Then you've been talking about it since after the A&M game. Then we had to turn around and wait to see what the College Football Playoff Committee was going to do. We handled business. We won out. We beat all these ranked teams, starting with A&M, then Mizzou, Clemson, Vandy, all these really good teams. Had to wait for what the committee was going to do. Last night, they announced we are 14th. We needed to be 11 with the way that the conference championships work. Mm-hmm. We are 14 behind Ole Miss, Miami, and Bama.
Yeah. I can see being behind Bama and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Fucking Miami is just ridiculous.
Cannot wrap my head around that. I don't care about
they have one less team all year.
Yes. No, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Not one. They have like probably the weakest schedule.
Yeah.
They go up and lose a game to Syracuse. Might be ranked now. I'm not sure.
They're ranked this week after beating them, but they weren't when they played them.
They almost lost to Cal. They lost to Georgia Tech. I mean, they've got no strength of schedule. There's nothing there other than just they haven't lost.
Yeah.
I can't understand
absurd.
It. Like, why are we playing the games against we have to go and play Alabama, LSU, all these SEC schools that are always in the top 10, and they just go play unranked schools the entire year, lose to two of them, and then get into the playoffs.
It's crazy. It's a similar story. Like, I think Indiana is better than Miami, but it's a similar story there. They played one ranked game against Ohio State. They lost.
Yeah.
But they're in because they didn't have to play anybody else. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like the Miami thing, that really, really got me, because they beat Cal and I believe Virginia Tech because of referees. The opposite issue we had where we lose to LSU because this referee doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, but speaking of like bullshit refs, we lose to LSU because of the refs. We also lose because Lenoris is out.
Yep.
Obvious, like the committee last year approved that they would not put you in, FSU when your best player is out. Our best player was out for half the game. That should not count against us.
Yeah, they say that it should be taken into consideration. I guess my question that I've been yelling about is, if the same scenario happens to Alabama that happened to us, is Alabama still in the playoffs?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Alabama.
They're Alabama. I don't know if Ole Miss is that, same situation.
I don't think they get that same pull.
I do think Ole Miss is just a better team. They're better than us, and I think they're better than Alabama too. I think they should be in the playoffs over Alabama.
I don't see how you watch Bama play against Oklahoma and score 3 points and think that that's a playoff team.
Right.
That's crazy to me. And it's not like they looked fantastic against Auburn either.
No. I mean, Auburn's not that good, but Oklahoma is really not that good.
Oklahoma this is the worst Sooners team that we've seen in a while. And they scored 3 points against them.
Ever seen. I can't. When was the last time? What are they, 4? They won 4 games?
Yeah, it was something. I think they might amazingly be bowl eligible.
Really? I can't believe it.
But I'm going to try to pull that up. But it's just, they're 6-6.
Jeez.
Which is, let's see. Okay, I guess 2022, they won 6 games in Venable's first season. But they haven't won fewer than 6 since 98. The year before Stoops got there. And I mean, this team, they were just so bad.
Yeah.
And Bama loses to them. They lose to Vandy, who had a good year, but we destroy Vandy. I think what drives me crazy about the head-to-head, because Bama beat us by 2 at their place, and Ole Miss, I mean, they did destroy us. But at that point, like, should you just stop playing once you lose to teams who are ahead of you? Like, should you just give up if you can never come back after losing head to head? Like, I don't really understand that.
Because obviously this playoff system is flawed. And it's got to be fixed. Like, there's no the head to the I think we got to get her like the automatic bids for conference champions. Like, it's so, like, why are we putting? Okay, we got Boise. They get in, but what if UNLV beats them? They automatically gets in.
That's what was. So this is what's tricky and inconsistent to me.
And then if Clemson beats SMU, they get in.
Yeah. So what's inconsistent to me is that if you want to look at the whole body of work, to me, if you're going to have the automatic bids and you're not going to punish teams in conference championship games for losing, that's a reward for an entire season of being consistently good. Because you've played the whole season out, you've made your conference championship, you're in the playoff picture, perfect.
Yeah.
The at-large bids, when you're picking the rest of them, of course I'm biased. This is a Gamecock show. Who cares? Fuck you. But that should be for the teams who are hot right now, who have a chance to compete with those teams who have had the body of work that's good.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for a struggling Bama to get in or Miami.
Yeah.
When you've got hotter teams like the University of South Carolina who have improved over the course of the season, put them in and let them compete against the teams that got lucky. They had the lucky bounces, but they've been consistently good the whole year. Give me the consistently good teams versus the hottest teams right now. That's kind of what March Madness does. They still mess it up too, and they have 68 spots. But that's what I want, and it just seems inconsistent to me from year to year too, because even with Florida State, I'm going to have to catch my breath in a second. But even with Florida State last year, they didn't get in despite winning. So what you're telling me is you do take into account.
They were also correct last year. Because they got destroyed by Georgia, I think, by 63 points or something
in the bowl game. But if you're going to leave them out of the playoff based on how they look recently, then how are you not going to put a team in a playoff based on how they look recently? That doesn't make any sense to me. So it's a matter of consistency. That's my biggest beef is it's inconsistent. We've seen a couple times in the college football playoff rankings this year where they have ranked teams ahead of teams they've lost to despite having the same record. But now all of a sudden you don't want to do it. It doesn't make any sense. It's inconsistent. Be consistent or let the computers do it.
Well, that's what we looked at last night with the BCS. I sent to the group chat the BCS standings. We would be number 12 if it was the BCS was still in play. My problem really with these teams that are ranked ahead of us and there's is the strength of schedule that they've played.
Yeah.
Like if your strength of schedule, like if you're above 50th in strength of schedule, why are we even looking at you?
Get out.
You're in a completely different league. This is not even the same ballpark. Like, get the fuck out. I don't want to hear your shit.
Yeah. And it's like it all comes back to the preseason rankings too, because if we were ranked whatever Bama was ranked in the preseason or Ole Miss,
yeah,
then we'll never, no matter who we lost to, we wouldn't have dropped out the top 25. And so you don't have to make the climb that we had to make to even get into the top 25. Remember how, like...
Yeah, I think we were projected to be like second to last in the SEC this year, I think.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. So you can't just make these decisions backing up these preseason rankings that are just a guess. And then it's just infuriating to me to know, like, okay, if we're not in the playoff, that's fine. But again, Miami, who has Notre Dame played? Who has Indiana played? Why are we playing tough teams if the goal is not to lose games and we don't care who those games are against so long as you don't lose them? That's so stupid.
If we want to get to the playoffs, let's join the Pac-12 or whatever it is now that they call it.
Yeah. Come on, let's play. Let's play.
Yeah. We'll travel to the other side of the country. And we'll destroy those teams. But
it is insane.
Yeah, we will be favored by 3 touchdowns every time.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the playoffs.
And so long as you get your ranking up high enough off of those teams that are no good, like Indiana's done, like Miami's done, then you can lose to whoever at the end of the season and you won't drop that far because it's just about who has the fewest losses, and then we can do head-to-head. Like, if I thought we were using people with eyeballs who could look at things with some nuance.
Watching all these games to see how these teams are actually playing.
That's the problem.
Highlights and final scores.
So if they can't do that, then let a Cybertruck decide, and I'll live with that.
Come on, Elon.
Just give us a Cybertruck to make a decision. And I'll live with the Cybertruck. I'm mad at Cybertrucks already anyways. But it's just like, what are we supposed to do? So I hope from now on, let's just front load the schedule with Charleston Southern. We got Trident Tech down the street that doesn't even have a team. We'll just, all these cupcake schools, and then we'll play Clemson to end the season.
Yep.
We'll be ranked 7th by that point, so it won't matter whether or not we win or lose. And then we'll just make the playoffs. It'll be nice.
Yeah, and they've already established, or you said last night, that no matter if your team is idle this week, it doesn't matter if, what happens, you're not going to fall.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, but whatever.
Because to me, that takes away, if you get high enough, that takes away the incentive to play in the game.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Just, we'll show up to the conference championship game and we'll sit all the starters so we're healthy and lose it, and we'll still make the playoff, and it'll be beautiful.
Yeah. We can't fix it. We need higher, people with more authority to do this, but I mean, it's the 4-team playoff was better than this bullshit right here.
I think that's the big thing is that, like, no matter how big you make it, it's going to be a problem because it's humans making a decision, and you got all these biases, and everyone. My least favorite thing about college football fans is when they try to pretend to be objective. Like, no, I can see things fairly. Like, no, we're college football fans. If you don't think I'd be arguing the opposite if we got in and it served our purpose, I could find a way to do that too, because I'm a college football fan and I enjoy my team being rewarded.
So, I mean, I'll be fair. I don't think we should win a national championship. We're not that good of a team yet.
No.
But there is a very valid argument for us to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
And there is no argument for Clemson to be in the playoffs or Indiana or Miami. That just should not be happening.
No. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm very angry. And Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois at home.
Yeah.
And they've not played any real ranked teams. They play all these teams where the kids are getting ready to go serve the military. Those are the only tough teams they play. They play service academies where they got bigger things to worry about.
And they played Southern Cal, but I think they've only won 5 games this year. I don't think
they're terrible. Don't ever call yourself the real USC again. Lincoln Riley, go to jail. You're stealing from that school.
Oh, yeah.
They play nobody. So we should not play anybody.
We shouldn't. It does not serve us to do that.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I hate it. I don't know where else I have to go from here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I sound irrational. It's my right.
The only thing that this serves, I think, is it probably helps us recruiting-wise and transfer portals. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice too.
Yeah, it's bad.
But what I hope happens is that it pisses us off that we didn't get into the playoffs, and then we come out full steam out of the gate next year and just destroy people.
Yeah, and we get Bama at home.
Yeah, that
should be a revenge game. We get I'm pretty sure the schedule is just flipped for the most part from.
Is it really?
I think so. So, and we will certainly cover that at some point too. But right now we're coping. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
it's a roller coaster of emotions. We beat Clemson at Clemson. Then they rip our hearts out of our
whatever
chests.
happens. This was a great year because we beat Clemson.
Yes,
I don't care if that was the one game we won all year. We won that one.
Yes. So, ending on a positive note while we still have our voices.
Yeah.
This was on a scale of 1 to 10. What is this season to you? Was 10 being far exceed your expectations?
Oh, it for sure exceed my expectations like a 9, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we did not look good the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. Kentucky was Kentucky the second week?
Kentucky was second game, then LSU.
Yeah. Which we didn't really even look that great against Kentucky. Kentucky looked so terrible.
They're very bad. Yeah.
And then we should have beat LSU. The first half of the season was, we were 3-3.
Yeah.
That was at that point it was better than I expected.
Yep.
But we just kept getting better.
Yeah.
Which made me really happy.
To me, the only inexcusable loss that we had was Ole Miss coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
And getting blown out like that. That was pathetic. And that's one of those ones where you wonder if that's closer, even if it's still a loss, but closer. What does our season look like at the end here? Because I think it's easy to look at that one and be like, well, they got blown out by Ole Miss at home and they don't belong. But no, incredible season, incredible growth from Lenoris. And we just keep finding playmakers too.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know why we don't find them a little bit sooner. But I mean, that's kind of been the theme the past couple seasons. We finish seasons incredibly strong for the most part.
Yeah. And about one thing, I don't know if the exact situation is Josh Simon. He didn't do hardly anything against Clemson. I feel like he's probably still hurt.
Yeah.
But if he's at full health and plays like he normally does, I think we probably just destroy Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't do a whole lot of anything. Even blocking, he looked not right. So I do believe he was probably still hurt. But, I mean, if you told me 9-3 and 14 in the final poll at the beginning of the season, I would have asked you what kind of crack you were smoking.
Yeah.
So I
I gotta
mean,
go back to the break and apologize to that guy I got to an argument with.
yeah, that guy was right, man.
He was somehow he was right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We got to go get the lottery numbers from him. But yeah, so is like I'm angry because mostly about the Miami thing. That's really
Yeah,
you went too far.
yeah.
Because I have a problem with our coaching, but we don't have Mario Cristobal problems with our coaching. That's incredible. He's a ding dong. But the season, a success. I know we will be on here, I'm guessing, and previewing the bowl game as well.
Yeah.
But man, it feels good to be back. And hopefully,
It's good to be good.
yeah, like we were so depressed to start the season on here every week.
He had like a 10-year depression.
It's been
Not
terrible.
more than that, 13 years. Something. I don't know. When was the last time we were good? 2013?
I don't even remember. I blocked it out.
I think that was Clowney's last year was 13. Might have been 14.
I blocked it out because it made me so sad to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 2013, 11-2, 7-6 the next year, and then it's just been. I mean, I guess
Garbage.
Muschamp won 9 games one year, but it didn't feel good
I
because
can't remember us ever doing. Was that the year we beat Georgia?
let me see. It's all running together now.
That had to be like
It's 2017.
18 or something like that.
We didn't beat Georgia, but we beat no one good. We beat Michigan in the bowl game, Outback Bowl.
And I'm sure Michigan was not good.
We play them all the time. Yeah, that schedule. If we'd had that schedule this year, we would have been 12-0 probably. I don't know, because we didn't play anybody except Georgia, and so that team did not feel good. But this felt like a good team. That was the Jake Bentley year.
Oh. Okay.
So this was a good year. This was a fantastic year.
This has been really good. What was Beamer's first year? Was it 7 games?
Yep, 7-6. Mayo Bowl, the Dak Joyner game.
Right.
So last year was bad, but we got it figured out. Hopefully, we carry this forward next season.
Yeah. Now,
And-
what scares me about next season is we lose a lot of talent this year to seniors graduating.
Yeah, so he's really got to be on his game in the portal.
Yeah, which, I mean,
He's been pretty good.
yeah, it just proves, I mean, that the portal makes it so much easier to build a program nowadays. Like, you don't have to, it doesn't take 3 years to get back to, to get recruits and stuff in again. You can do it, with 1 year's transfer portal.
Yeah.
And the guys we got, I mean, a lot of the playmakers we got were from the transfer portal, like Simon, and it was 2 years ago, but Demetrius and
Kennard.
Rocket,
Yeah.
everybody that's just been everybody we brought in seems to be really good.
So maybe we're finally seeing what we were sold on with Beamer coming true.
Yeah.
Um,
I would love it if he learned how to actually coach better. Not necessarily him, but his associates, assistants and stuff. But
yeah.
if we can get better coaching, I think we're top tier or can be top tier.
If we can keep it in the ballpark defensively next season in terms of defense, maybe take a step back. But if we can have
we probably will.
If we can have the progression offensively next year that we had on defense this year,
yeah,
I'm not going to hold my breath for it. But I mean, it looks like we'll still have.
If we get Lenoris for another 2 years and he continues to improve, he's got to be on Heisman watch next year.
You would think.
It has to be.
He's so good.
He's so impressive. And just the improvement he's made in this 1 year alone. Obviously, you can't go from a non-starter to a starter and be fantastic right off the bat. So it won't be improve a lot next year probably, but just he's going to get better. I would hope, because if he regresses, then we're fucked. But
Yeah, that would be incredible to me if he went backwards, because
yeah,
he didn't look anything like this year, like you were saying at the beginning of the year. This is a different player.
Yeah, he
And
was
thank
missing
God
a
for
lot of throws early on, and he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, we were winning around him basically. I think
Yeah,
looks like A&M, he kind of started putting things together, and then we just kept it moving from there. But
maybe even Alabama, he started putting shit together.
yeah, it was. I still have a hard time with some of his throws he made, like the 2-point conversion when he sent it to damn Leeds, Alabama. So he still had some terrible throws that game, but he's gotten better. I do think he needs to get better since we roll him out a lot at throwing on the run.
Yeah,
Accuracy's not great there, but we got a bowl game, so that means we got bowl practices, got a whole off season. If he can just keep on the trajectory he's on, you can't expect him to go get this much better every year, but if he can just keep moving forward,
yeah,
that's a hell of a piece.
Like, big time players around him,
Yeah,
then we're in business. Like, imagine if we had Leggett or Juice,
who made I hope they paid him well at Ole Miss.
Well, you hear that shit? What Beamer was talking about? Like, he was pretty much talking about Juice, saying that he didn't think we had a quarterback. That's why he was going somewhere else.
Didn't have a quarterback or a way to win.
Yeah. Well, you're in the same boat we're in now. So.
Yep. So, and he probably would have been our number one receiver.
Oh, for sure.
And he was like third at Ole Miss. So,
yeah.
I hope you got paid well. I truly do hope he got paid well, because, I wouldn't be playing out there for free. And I don't have a problem with him leaving if he got paid well. But you did make a silly choice if those were your factors. I would respect it more if he was like, they offered me $3 million. I'll be like, shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll help you pack.
Well, I think I saw that we're going to, Stewart's going to need like 1.5 to stick around. Like, they're in talks about trying to get him that money.
Well, let's do it.
The best. Who's going to say there's a better, freshman in the country?
It's crazy. So
it's Clowney-esque. He's not quite as impactful as Clowney, but man, for Clowney's freshman year, he's just about as good.
Yeah.
And then Kennard, it's kind of like the equivalent of Melvin Ingram.
Yeah. So some good pieces. We got the bowl game to talk about whenever we find out about that. I hate the committee and Miami, but overall, you beat Clemson, you win 9 games. I cannot be mad at anybody. We apologized to everyone we had to last week.
We were ready to take away that apology, halfway through half or 3.5 quarters through the game.
I was like, why are we being so shitty right now? I just couldn't have. I would have traded every other win for that one game.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that the coaches did not appear to feel the same way. And that's mostly on the offensive side of the ball. And that's why he didn't get an apology.
Yeah.
But I look forward to hopefully apologizing to him next year if he gets his shit together.
We'll see.
So, all right, that will do it. We'll be back for a bowl preview in a couple of weeks. Petey, is there anything else you need to say to the people?
We own the state.
Yeah.